Doraemon, Detective Conan, Frieren, Beyond Journey's End. For generations, Shogakukan, one of Japan's largest publishers, has taught children about justice. Protect the weak, never give up, never run away. But a court has now pulled back the curtain on what was happening behind the scenes. Shogakukan secretly rehired a convicted sex offender under a fake name, and when the victim tried to speak out, they offered her 1.5 million yen to keep her quiet. She refused. I'm Yoppy. Why do Japanese companies risk everything to shelter sex offenders? Today, I want to talk about a deeply rooted logic in this country, the idea that talent grants immunity, and one woman who never gave in to it. In 2020, a manga writer was arrested. He had used his position as a drawing instructor to abuse a 15-year-old student over a period of 3 years. The charge was exploitation of a minor under Japan's child protection law. The sentence handed down by the Japanese justice system was a fine of just $2,000. For 3 years of abuse, that was it. His manga series was cancelled. It should have ended there. But 1 year after his arrest, a Shogakukan editor, his own editor, the one assigned to his series, sent the victim a message online with an unbelievable proposal. We will pay you $10,000. In return, please withdraw your demand to cancel the series and agree not to speak publicly about this matter. A company that had spent decades teaching children about justice was now directly attempting to silence a victim. The woman refused. Then, roughly 3 years after the arrest, the offender resurfaced under a completely different pen name, Ichiro Hajime, with a new series on Manga 1, a manga app operated by Shogakukan. The publisher knew everything, his criminal past, the hush money offer, and rehired him anyway, simply under a different name. Now stop for a moment. This was not a rogue editor acting alone, because in a separate sexual crime case, Shogakukan did the exact same thing. Have you heard of a manga called Act Age? It was a major hit, serialized in Weekly Shonen Jump, with a stage adaptation already in the works. Its writer was convicted of indecent assault and the series was cancelled, but he too was later found to have been quietly brought back onto Manga 1 under a different name, the same publisher, the same pattern of concealment, twice. I have deep respect for the profession of manga artist. My own mother actually aspired to be one when she was young. She eventually put down her pen and spent her life as a school teacher instead. Every single day, newcomers put their work out into the world, and most of them disappear without a trace. They hone their art, craft their stories, draw through tears, and still so many see their dreams slip away. Because I can at least begin to imagine that pain, I find it unforgivable. The idea that someone could use their talent as a shield, trample over women, and keep standing in the same arena untouched, all while drawing stories about justice. So why does this kind of systematic, organization-wide concealment happen? The answer is not that the offenders were evil. It is in fact the opposite. In Japan, there exists a warped logic I call the immunity of talent. He can write brilliant manga. He generates enormous revenue. As long as someone has that kind of talent, their sins as a human being can simply be looked away from. And this is not limited to the manga industry. Have you heard of Johnny Kitagawa? He was the producer who dominated Japan's largest talent agency for over 50 years. His sexual abuse of hundreds of boys was known across the entire entertainment industry, and yet no one stopped him. The reason was simple. He was a genius who created stars. Television networks, advertising agencies, media outlets, every single one of them knew, and every single one of them stayed silent. The manga world, the entertainment world, why do so many people keep their mouths shut? The answer lies in a structure that runs deep in Japanese society. There is a Japanese term, Mura Shakai, village society. To protect the village's order and its interests, inconvenient truths must never leave the village, and anyone who serves the village's interests is protected by the entire community. no matter what crime they commit. The unfortunate reality is that in Japanese society, talent functions as a free pass from consequence. It can erase even the most heinous of sins. Now, let me return to the victim. How did the full extent of this cover-up come to light? Even after his arrest, the offender kept contacting her, and one day he said this to her: "I found the next one." Something inside her snapped. She later said, "I didn't want there to be any more victims." Suffering from PTSD caused by years of trauma, she made the decision not to ease her own pain, but to protect someone she had never met. This time, she herself took the offender to civil court. The court ordered the offender to pay $73,000 in damages, and every detail of this ugly cover-up was dragged into the light. Japanese social media erupted. "The publisher is mocking the victim," people said. And then something unprecedented happened. Manga artists who rarely speak out in Japan began pulling their works from the platform one after another in an act of protest. A boycott, the likes of which the industry had never seen. Yasuo Otagaki, the creator of Gundam Thunderbolt, declared he would halt distribution on Manga 1, saying, "As a parent, I cannot treat this as someone else's problem." And Yuki Suetsugu, the creator of Chihaya Furu, a manga artist with no ties to Shogakukan whatsoever, expressed her outrage. The betrayal by these adults is too awful for words. And still, the offender has not acknowledged any wrongdoing. He has not even apologized. But amid all of this hell, the victim released a statement. She said, "I do not wish for the app to be shut down. It is a platform where manga artists pursue their dreams. What I truly hope for is that people will come to understand the reality of this kind of harm, and that society as a whole will build systems to protect children from sexual abuse." After everything that had been done to her, the abuse, the cover-up, the attempt to buy her silence, what she asked for was not revenge. It was protection for the next generation. I can only begin to imagine how painful it must be to go on living after surviving sexual abuse. And yet, she stood up, not for herself, but for someone she has never met. As a fellow human being, all I can do is bow my head before that kind of strength. For decades, Japanese shonen manga has drawn the same image of a hero, strong, righteous, and willing to fight for the powerless. But when the adults who had been selling children dreams of heroism were caught sheltering a sex offender and trying to silence his victim with money, the real hero turned out to be the one woman they tried to shut up with 1.5 million yen. Should talent grant forgiveness for crime? What do you think? If this story stayed with you, subscribe. There's more Japan doesn't want you to see.